Hare Krishna, my friends. Welcome to Bhaktiville. Welcome to everyone. If you're listening to us on Facebook or listening to the recording later or here in Bhaktiville now, we've got Bhaktivinoda is here and Kandita is here. Welcome. So we've been reading the teachings of Queen Kunti since September 8th, and we have met 26 times. Amazing, huh? This is our last chapter and our last reading of this text. Or is it? I have a surprise. Bhaktivinoda asked Srimad Madhukar Das, a kirtan expert and all-around nice brahmachari, record the chanting of all of Queen Kunti's conversation in these Srimad Bhagavatam verses 18 to 43. So next week, we'll chant all the verses together with his recordings. So excited. So please join us. It'll be pretty exciting. The following Friday, on May 3rd, we'll begin our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. We will conduct this class just like in the temples. We'll learn and sing the preliminary glorification verses of Srimad Bhagavatam before each reading. Then we'll read and repeat the verses and word-for-word translation, then read and discuss the translation and purport. Very exciting. So for tonight, on our last chapter, we're on page 216 of the PDF or page 197 of the book. This is chapter 26, titled Enchantment by Krishna's Glories. But first, let me offer my obeisances. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet, and to all the devotees, past, present, and future, in universes around everywhere. Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhye cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desired trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. So here we are, chapter 26. Let's do the word for word first, and then we'll do the Sanskrit and the English. I like to do the word for word first, so we can kind of think about what's being said in the Sanskrit. So, Shri Krishna, O Shri Krishna, Krishna Sakha, O friend of Arjuna, Vrishni, O descendants of Vrishni, Vrishabha, O chief, Avani, the earth, Drik, rebellious, Rajanya Vamsha, dynasties of the kings, Dahana, O annihilator, Anapavarga, without deterioration of, let me think about that again. Anapavarga, it's Anapavarga, without deterioration of, Virya, prowess, Govinda, O proprietor of Golokadam, Go, of the cows, Dvija, the Brahmanas, Sura, the demigods, Artihara, to relieve distress, Avatara, O Lord who descends, Yoga Ishvara, O master of all mystic powers, Akila, universal, Guru, O preceptor, Bhagavan, O possessor of all opulences, Namahate, respectful obeisances unto you. And the verse in Sanskrit, Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha, Vrishni Rishabhavani Drug, Rajanya Vamsha Dahana, Anapavarga Virya, Govinda Godvija, Surati Haravatara, Yogeshvarakila Guru, Bhagavan Namaste. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 8th chapter, verse 43. So on to our text. Chapter 26, Enchantment by Krishna's Glories. A great title. A summary of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is made herein by Srimati Kunti Devi. The Almighty Lord has his eternal transcendental abode, where he is engaged in keeping Surabhi cows. He is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. He descends on the material world to reclaim his devotees and to annihilate the disturbing elements in groups of political parties and kings who are supposed to be in charge of administration work. He creates, maintains, and annihilates by his unlimited energies, and still he is always full with prowess and does not deteriorate in potency. Cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees of the Lord are all objects of his special attention because they are very important factors for the general welfare of living beings. Kunti addresses Lord Krishna as Krishna Sakha because she knows that although Arjuna, who is also known as Krishna, is her son and therefore subordinate to her, Lord Krishna is more intimately related with Arjuna than with her. Krishna is also a name of Draupadi. Oh, Krishna, a long A, is also a name of Draupadi. And so the word Krishna Sakha also indicates Lord Krishna's relationship with Draupadi, whom he saved from being insulted when Duryodhana and Karna attempted to strip her naked. Kunti also addresses Lord Krishna as Vrishni Rishabh, the child of the dynasty of Vrishni, or the bull of the dynasty of Vrishni. It was because Krishna appeared in the Vrishni dynasty that this dynasty became famous, just as Malaysia and the Malaya Hills became famous because of the sandalwood that grows there. Kunti Devi also addresses Lord Krishna as the destroyer of the political parties or royal dynasties that disturb the earth. In every monarchy, the king is honored very gorgeously. Why? Since he is a human being and the other citizens are also human beings, why is the king so honored? The answer is that the king, like the spiritual master, is meant to be the representative of God. In the Vedic literature, it is said, Acharyam mam vijaniyam navamanyeta karhijit. That's from Bhagavatam 11:17-27. And the full verse is, one should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So Prabhupada goes on to say, the spiritual master should not be regarded as an ordinary human being. Similarly, a king or president is also not treated like an ordinary human being. In the Sanskrit language, the king is also called Naradeva, which means God in human form. His duty is like that of Krishna. As God is the supreme living being in the universe and is the maintainer of all other living beings, the king is the supreme citizen in the state. Excuse me. Sorry. and is responsible for the welfare of all others. Just as we are all living beings, Krishna, God, is also a living being. Krishna is not impersonal. Because we are all individual persons, but our knowledge and opulence is limited, the impersonalist cannot adjust to the idea that the supreme, the original, unlimited cause of everything can also be a person. Because we are limited and God is unlimited, the Mayavadis or impersonalists, with their poor fund of knowledge, think that God must be impersonal. Making a material comparison, they say that just as the sky, which we think of as unlimited, is impersonal, if God is unlimited, he must also be impersonal. I know that logic doesn't work for me, but anyway. But that is not the Vedic instruction. The Vedas instruct that God is a person, Krishna is a person, and we are also persons. But the difference is that he is to be worshipped, whereas we are to be worshippers. The king or president is a person, and the citizens are also persons. The difference is that the president or king is an exalted person who should be offered all respect. Now, why should so many persons worship one person? Because that one person provides for the others. Eko bahu namyo vidadati kaman. So, Bhaktamimulus, this is the second part of the Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Eka bahu namyo vidadati kaman. The Supreme Lord is eternal, and the living beings are eternal. The Supreme Lord is cognizant, and the living beings are cognizant. The difference is that the Supreme Lord is supplying all the necessities of life for the many other living entities. This is from the Katha Upanishad. So God is one, and we are many, but he is worshipped because he provides for everyone. It is God who provides food and all the other necessities of life. We need water, and God has nicely arranged for oceans of water, with salt mixed in to preserve it all nicely. Then, because we need drinking water, by God's arrangement, the sunshine evaporates the water from the ocean, takes it high in the sky, and then distributes clear distilled water through the rain. Just see how God is providing everything that everyone needs. Even in ordinary life, the state has a heating department, a lighting department, a plumbing department, and so on. Why? Because these are amenities we require. But these arrangements are subordinate. The first arrangement is that of God. It is God who originally supplies heat, light, and water. It is God who supplies the rainwater that fills our wells and reservoirs. Therefore, the original supplier is God. Bhaktamimulus has a comment. I only remember we talked about it, but not what it means. So that's that verse, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. That's the part that says, the Lord's eternal, the living beings are eternal. The Lord is cognizant, the living beings are cognizant. That's that one. That's that part of that phrase, that shloka. And then the second part, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman, is that the difference is that the Supreme Lord is supplying everything for everybody. All right, back to the text. God is an intelligent person who knows that we need heat, light, water, and so on. Without water, we cannot produce food. Even those who eat animals cannot do so without God's arrangement, for the animal also must be provided with grass before one can take it to the slaughterhouse. Thus, it is God who is supplying food, but still we are creating rebellion against him. The word druk means rebellious. Those rascals who are going against the law of God are rebellious. The king's duty is to act as the representative of Krishna, or God. Otherwise, what right does he have to take so much honor from the citizens? Monarchy was formerly present in every country, but because the kings rebelled against God and violated his laws, because they tried to usurp the power of God and did not act as his representatives, the monarchies of the world have nearly all disappeared. The kings thought that their kingdoms were their personal property. I have so much property, such a big kingdom, they thought. I am God. I am the Lord of all that I survey. That is not actually the fact. The fact is that everything belongs to God. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. How about that, Bhaktivinoda? Does that sound familiar? Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So all this is controlled by the Lord. So that's the first verse, the first mantra of Sri Ishopanishad. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kinsha jagatyam jagat tena tiktena bunjita magita kashasvidanam. So everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one must not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. So, therefore, the representative of God must be very obedient to God. Then his position will be legitimate. Greedy, self-interested kings are like false spiritual masters who proclaim that they themselves are God. Because such false masters are rebellious, they have no position. Spiritual master is supposed to act not as God, but as the most confidential servant of God by spreading God consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Sakshat Tare Tvena Samasta Shastraya Ukta. All the Shastras, Vedic literature state that the spiritual master is to be honored as the Supreme Personality of God. This is from a verse that we sing in the morning, the prayers to the spiritual master. Sakshatare Tvena Samasta Shastraya Uktastata Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhorya Praya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Thus, the idea that the spiritual master is as good as God is not bogus. It is stated in the Shastras, and therefore those who are advanced in spiritual life accept this spiritual injunction. Uttastata bhavyata eva sadbihi. Then, is the spiritual master as good as God? Kintu prabhorya priya eva tasya. The spiritual master is not God, but is the confidential representative of God. The distinction is that between Sevya Bhagavan, he who is worshipped, and Sevaka Bhagavan, he who is the worshipper. The spiritual master is God and Krishna is God. But Krishna is the worshipable God, whereas the spiritual master is the worshipper of God. The Mayavadis cannot understand this. They think, because the spiritual master has to be accepted as God, because I have become a spiritual master, I have become God. This is rebellious. Those who are given a position by God, but who want to usurp this power, which they actually cannot do, are rebellious fools and rascals who require punishment. Therefore, Kunti Devi says, Avani Drug Rajanya Vamshadaghana. You descend to kill all these rascals who rebelliously claim your position. When various kings or landholders are subordinate to an emperor, they sometimes rebel and refuse to pay taxes. Similarly, there are rebellious persons who deny the supremacy of God and declare themselves God. Krishna's business is to kill them. So that's all the pastimes. He's referring to all the pastimes of Krishna Lila right there. So the word anapavarga indicates that Krishna's prowess is without deterioration. This word is the opposite of the word pavarga, which refers to the path of material tribulation. So just as an aside, I started taking a Sanskrit class, and the pavarga are all the sounds that are made with the lips. So Prabhupada says the word pavarga refers to the Sanskrit letters pa, pa, ba, pa, and ma. Those are all the things pronounced by the lips. Thus, when the word pavarga is used to refer to the path of material tribulation, its meaning is understood through words beginning with these 5 letters. The letter pa is for parishrama, which means labor. In this material world, one must work very hard to maintain oneself. Bhagavad Gita 3:8, it is said, Sharira ratrapi chate na prasiddhyad akarmanaha. One cannot even maintain one's own body without work. Krishna never advised Arjuna, I'm your friend, and I shall do everything. You just sit down and smoke ganja. Krishna was doing everything, but still he told Arjuna, you must fight. Nor did Arjuna say to Krishna, you are my great friend. Better you go fight, and let me sit down and smoke ganja. No, that is not Krishna consciousness. A God-conscious person does not say, God, you please do everything for me and let me smoke ganja. Rather, a God-conscious person must work for God. But even if one does not work for the sake of God, one must work. For without work, one cannot even maintain one's body. This material world, therefore, is meant for parishrama, hard labor. Even a lion, although king of the beasts, must still look for its own prey in the jungle. It is said, Nahi suptasya simmasya pravishanti mukhe mrigaha. A lion cannot think, since I am king of the forest, let me sleep, and the animals will just come into my mouth. This is a phrase from the Hitopadesh, which is a book about animals and humans and has lots of stories. And this phrase is, we can accomplish various tasks only by making continuous and strenuous efforts, not by merely wishing to do so. By no means do antelopes themselves enter into the mouth of a sleeping lion. That's so funny. So anyway, this is not possible. So no, sir, although you are a lion, you must go search for your food. Thus even the lion, although so powerful, must endeavor with great difficulty to find another animal to eat. And similarly, everyone in this material world must work with great difficulty to continue his life. And so pa indicates parishrama, labor, and pa is for penila, which means foam. While working very hard, a horse foams at the mouth, and similarly, human beings must also work hard in this way. Such hard labor, however, is vyarta, futile, and this is what is indicated by the letter ba. And ba, I have something to say about that. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, so ba, vyarta doesn't start with a B. It doesn't start with a B. It should be bandha or bondage. So bondage, banda, bondage. But bhaya, The Paya is fear. Despite working so hard, one is always somewhat fearful that things will not be done as he desires. The nature of the body is that it involves eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha. Although one may eat very nicely, one must consider whether one is overeating, so that he will not fall sick. Thus, even eating involves fear. A bird, while eating, looks this way and that way, fearful that some enemy may be coming. And for all the living entities, everything finally ends in death, mrityu. And this is what is indicated by the letter ma. Thus, pa varga, the group of letters that are pronounced with the lips, and its component letters, pa, ba, pa, and ma, indicate hard labor, parishrama, foam at the mouth, penila, banda or bondage, fear, bhaya, and death, mrityu. This is called pavarga, the path of material tribulation. Apavarga, however, indicates just the opposite, the spiritual world, where there is no labor, no foam, no bondage, no fear, and no death. Thus, Krishna is known as Anapavarga Virya, for he shows the path to the spiritual world. I just wanted to say something about my wanting to change that one word there that Prabhupada has. I did a search through the Vedabase and found other instances where he talks about the Pavarga, and so I was able to find what that word was, bondage or banda, because Srila Prabhupada quoted the verse where it's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. And that verse is, O Krishna, whose head is decorated with a peacock feather, although you impose pavarga on your enemies, defeat, foaming mouth, bondage, fear, and death, you give them apavarga, liberation, as well. So I just wanted to say that I was sticking with what Prabhupada said, but I found that he had translated it differently in other places. So anyway, why should one suffer from these 5 kinds of tribulation? Because one has a material body. As soon as one accepts a material body, whether it is that of a president, or a common man, a demigod, or a human being, an insect or a Brahma, one must go through these tribulations. This is called material existence. Krishna comes therefore to show one the path to apavarga, freedom from these tribulations. And when Krishna shows this path, we should accept it. Krishna says very clearly, surrender unto me, I shall give you apavarga. Aham tvam sarva apebhyo mokshayishami. I shall give you protection. And Krishna has the power with which to fulfill this guarantee. So that's in Bhagavad Gita 18:6. Kunti Devi addresses Krishna as Govinda because he is the giver of pleasure both to the cows and to the senses. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govinda Krishna is the Adi Purusha, the original person. Aham Adir Hidevanam. Bhagavad Gita 10:2. He is the origin even of demigods like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. People should not think that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the origin of everything. No, Krishna says here, Aham Adir Hidevanam. I am the origin even of these demigods. Therefore, we repeatedly emphasize that we worship no one but the original person. Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Padami. When Kunti prays Godvija Surarti Haravatara, she indicates that Govinda, Krishna, descends to this world especially to protect the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. The demoniac in the world are the greatest enemies of the cows, for they maintain hundreds and thousands of slaughterhouses. Although the innocent cows give milk, the most important food, and although even after death the cows give their skin for shoes, people are such rascals that they kill the cows, but still they want to be happy in this world. How sinful they are. Why is the cow protection so much advocated? Because the cow is the most important animal. There is no injunction that one should not eat the flesh of tigers or other such animals. In the Vedic culture, those who are meat eaters are recommended to eat the flesh of goats, dogs, hogs, or other lower animals, but never the flesh of cows, the most important animals. While living, the cows give important service by giving milk, and even after death, they give service by making available their skin, hooves, and horns, which may be used in many different ways. Nonetheless, present human society is so ungrateful that they needlessly kill these innocent cows. Therefore, Krishna comes to punish them. Krishna is worshipped with the prayer, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. My Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the brahmanas, and you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and world. For perfect human society, there must be protection of Godvija, the cows and the brahmanas. The word Dvija refers to the brahmana, or one who knows Brahman, or God. When the demoniac give too much trouble to the brahmanas and the cows, Krishna descends to re-establish religious principles. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4:7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. In the present age of Kali Yuga, people are very much sinful and are consequently suffering greatly. Therefore, Krishna has incarnated in the form of his name, as found in the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Queen Kunti prayed to the Lord just to enunciate a fragment of his glories. The Lord, upon hearing her prayers, which were composed in choice words for his glorification, responded by smiling, and his smile was enchanting as his mystic power. The conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by the Lord's mystic powers, but his devotees are enchanted in a different way by the glories of the Lord. Thus all the devotees worship the Lord by chosen words. No amount of chosen words, though, are sufficient to enumerate the Lord's glory, yet he is satisfied by such prayers, just as a father is satisfied even by the broken linguistic attempts of a growing child. Thus the Lord smiled and accepted the prayers of Queen Kunti. And there we have the end of this book, The Teachings of Queen Kunti, and Srila Prabhupada's lectures transcribed into chapters for us to read. Bhaktivinoda says, Jai Queen Kunti. Yes, Jai Queen Kunti. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So next week, we'll be singing all these prayers. Madhukar is going to sing the verse once and then twice, and we can sing along with him on the second time that he sings it. So Dr. Mimulus is working hard to make that available for us here in Bhaktiville. And of course, we'll post it online on our Bhaktiville channel on YouTube. And then the following week, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. So we're doing it. I'm committed to Canto 1. All right, so hope to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Bhakti Mimulus. Thank you, Kandita. Thank you, everyone who's listening.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, take care, everyone. Ekadasi's tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you Sunday and Tuesday for our regularly scheduled activities here in Bhaktiville. Take care.
Jai.
Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.